We're live. Welcome back, fuckers. I got one sandal on, and it's bright in here.
It's a beautiful day at Uncle Tony's Studios.
What a sentence. I've got a sandal on, one sandal on, and it's bright in here.
And I got this nice drink courtesy of my neighbor.
We're out on the beach today.
Our neighbors gave us drinks, so we're in Hawaii today.
This is from Russia, actually. Very opposite.
Wait, these are Russian?
It's Moscow meat. It's root beer.
Virgin Moscow meat.
Yeah.
We gotta get rid of these.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
We can support this.
Shit. You guys didn't see anything.
These are just club sodas.
This is actually a Mexican mule. It's got tequila.
Is that a thing?
That's not a bad idea. I don't know if it is. It's probably a thing.
Is that a thing?
You can do whatever you want.
I had a Black Russian the other day. It was terrible. Fucking awful. But,
Where's the Black Russian? Coffee?
It's a white Russian with no cream. So, yeah, it's,
I thought it was just, yeah, so I
you
thought.
were there for that, actually.
I've had that before. It's not the tastiest thing.
If you hate your life, maybe. Anyway.
If you're like an alcoholic professor, maybe. That could be your go-to for research
Yeah, or
purposes.
just a wash up. You don't need to fuck around with the flavor. But today we're going to be talking about the simulation theory. This is a big one.
Simulation?
That's what we're starting off with. The simulation, the video game theory.
I love simulator games.
It's true, this guy plays Truck Simulator about
So it's
8,
right
maybe
there.
12
You can see
hours.
the steering wheel.
Yeah, see, there it is. Farming, trucking, and...
When I tell you we got everything down here at Uncle Tony's Studios.
We can teach you how to do anything. Run a Bobcat, back up a 53 fucking footer.
That's how I learned how to drive a manual.
Yeah, you can drive
on the simulator.
You can drive a 10-speed Eaton Fuller on that fucking thing. Swinger wide, bucko. I want to get Midnight Club and hook that up to that game. You guys remember that game?
No.
Alright, well, anyways, back to simulations, not simulators.
That was a good segue right there.
It was, but life is a simulation. I realize this sometimes when I get really, really stoned.
That's true. I've had moments where I feel like there's like a glitch in reality.
Yes.
And times where it's just like something's like way too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence.
Yeah.
It just like everything feels scripted in a way.
Yeah, that's why, like, I don't know. I think we live in a I think we live in a simulation, but I think we're a simulation of a simulation.
Okay, who here among us thinks that we do live in a simulation?
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, I can't. There's no definitive yes or no.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
we
what
have
I was gonna
2,
say.
4. You're in the middle.
Even
I'm directly in the
philosophers that talk about it, like from what I've seen, literally will like argue their own argument against it, like about how it's real.
Yeah.
Like, this is how I can, but this is how you can counter it. But technically, there's no way for us to determine that we are real base time. Like,
okay, I'm somewhere still in the middle, but I'm leaning a little more towards the no side, because although it is possible for us to make really complicated simulations, there's there's not the technology around to do that right now. And if we were in an alien simulation, I think that some of the stuff that I've done would probably end up crashing the hardware or something like that. Between the 4 of us.
well, do you think, like, I don't know, this kind of like, okay, so I was, obviously, like, the last one I was on, we talked about, like, the theory that we all died in 2012. Now, I kind of can see, like, what if that actually real life did happen, and this is the simulation. Like, we've been trying to simulate life ever since then because we all fucking died.
You want to know something interesting? The day we were actually all supposed to die was my girlfriend's birthday.
That's my birthday.
She's a
December 21st.
doomsday?
Really?
Yes, this is my birthday.
Yeah, that's her birthday.
Wow.
I thought I was
Breaking
gonna die.
news.
I literally thought I was gonna die on my 13th birthday.
That's what she was like telling
We
us.
live in a fucking simulation. All right,
Yeah.
that's
God,
it.
we went through the same
That's
trauma.
Yeah, she said, like, she was telling her
The
friends,
Christmas
like, everyone,
birthday.
like, we're gonna all die on my birthday.
Literally, I remember that was the most vivid birthday of my life because I
That's
watched
kinda
that.
like-
I watched
yeah.
that movie 2012 and I was like,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
done.
yeah.
We're literally done. I was like, I'm not gonna make it to see 13. I'm never gonna be able to be a teenager.
If there's going to be an apocalypse, it's because of you.
I hope there's an apocalypse.
Wasn't all
There is-
that because of the
Harbinger,
end of the
doom,
Mayan
and
calendar or
destruction.
something?
Yeah, the Mayan calendar.
Didn't they find more pieces though?
Really?
I heard they found more pieces.
Someone said
something about
that the year was wrong and it was supposed to be 2022.
Yeah, I've also
Wait.
seen that.
Like this year is looking pretty apocalyptic.
It's actually not that bright in here. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I welcome it. You know, if Russia wants to send some nukes our way, or if we have some kind of
There you go.
climate-related meltdown.
Ooh, I have another theory too we can talk about that's not really related, but it's still a cool theory.
Let's get into simulation theory.
But
What is simulation theory?
Okay, so
Let's hear it from a psychologist.
Okay, so
Fucking
there is a
brain.
theory right now that comes from very real science. It's mostly actually just like a thought, but what if our entire reality existed somewhere within some giant supercomputer that was computing everything that we do, every item in the world, every single thing that you've ever seen? So it's an interesting one because it makes you think about whether what you're seeing is real or not. So, as we know, everything in your brain is entirely subjective. And there's things like deja vu and weird dreams that predict the future, and there's all sorts of different uncanny valley stuff. And I don't know, I think it could be possible, but it's very unlikely.
the way I heard somebody describe it, or to explain, because people are like, "Oh, how could this be a simulation? This chair is a chair, but
Yeah.
But is
you
it?
can feel it, you can touch it, because
Or is it our
reality
thought?
is
Are we
based
just
off
thinking it?
taste, sight, touch, sound, But what if we were in a simulation? To say for instance, I saw where they said that if what was it? That it's so if somebody was controlling us, say if I was NPC, somebody's in my brain controlling my next move, every thought, all that crap. For me to pick up my phone, say if any object could simply be empty. We don't know that, but if we think, let me just break my phone in half real quick, that's when it has matter inside of it, or they create the game as we go. So it may seem oh, this is a solid, actual form of matter, but really it isn't. Or something, I don't
from
know.
a physics standpoint, all atoms are 99% empty space. And gravity or weight is just a subjective measurement.
You've never actually touched anything in your life. There's a separation at the atoms that prevents you from ever coming fully in contact. Because if the atoms were to contact each other, they would just fuse pretty much.
Hold it.
I think.
What if everything we can touch, this cup, this smokes, this chair I'm sitting my nice fat ass in, what if it's not actually real mass? What if
No way! That's such a crazy idea!
That's kind of what I was trying to get at.
What if reality is a simulation?
I'm gonna explode. My head's gonna explode if this turns out to be the truth. Like in the Lego movie, his fucking head explodes. That's gonna be me. I can't process all this.
You guys believe that we have free will. You can make whatever choice you want, do whatever the absolute fuck you want. Or is everything predetermined?
I call it free willy, not free will. And yeah, I think we do have free willy because you're free to willy whatever you want.
Sure, that's exactly what we meant to speak about.
That is interesting.
Listen, to stick on the topic of simulation, so I think we're in a simulation because, I saw this thing that said that the equivalent of 1 gram of our DNA is 2
6
million
miles long, yeah.
No, it's 2 million gigabytes in.
Oh.
That's what it's compared to.
Wait,
so 1 gram of your DNA is
convert
equivalent
that?
to
You can convert that?
It's
apparently
data.
I saw
Now
it.
we can
It's called
sequence
genome
entire.
sequencing.
Yeah, we can
So that's the
sequence.
equivalent of just, it is, I guess it is.
It
We
is
have-
raw
we
data.
have almost the
So
full
we have
human
data in our
genome.
DNA.
We have almost the entire human genome right now by this point. It's been sequenced.
File it.
That's
I
how
think,
you
I
get
think
caught
the
by the
University
police.
of Canada is doing huge projects with it.
Oh. Yeah, so soon they're just going to be able to copy and paste us and just fucking make a new one.
Damn Canadians.
Okay, so two
They're always up to
questions.
something.
If you clone yourself
They're always up to some good.
and then the clone of you kills you, the original,
That's in Rick
would
and
they
Morty.
still be you?
That's in Rick and Morty. He has multiple Ricks.
Yeah. I remember that episode actually.
There's Rick 142. Rick
But those come from
144.
different multiverses. I'm talking about
Just
within
on this verse, this multiverse.
Yeah.
There's so not a twin of me, but an exact clone, same DNA sequencing. And you're saying if that kid, so who would actually be the real one? The one that the clone
It's
that
impossible
killed
to
him?
determine is the problem.
right because
If it's an exact like perfect,
because they
Oh.
think like you, they have your exact brain map,
the same memories as you, like
yeah.
everything, like exact perfect
exact clone. Yeah,
It'd be impossible to determine which is which unless you put like a sticker on the back. Of the other one.
yeah.
This one with the marker.
It's worse than having
Sharpie on the
twins.
forehead.
It's slightly different haircuts, and that's it. Well, okay, I have another one too. Is if you replaced all your organs with donor organs, would you still be the same person? Like,
No,
does that
'cause
count as because it's
well,
within you?
It's
Well, your
still-
body
brain's
already
still the
naturally
same.
It wasn't
replaces
made
all
by
its
your-
cells every 7 years.
That is true.
So like, we still consider ourselves, even though we get a almost entirely brand new body every 7 years.
Well, that's the one that I think about with
I wish I got a new set of
cybernetics. Is like if you can replace yourself with robot parts, and you could replace everything except for your brain, would you still be you, or would you be a robot that stores you in it?
It's just an aftermarket part, bro.
Well, yeah.
As long
But-
as you're, as long as the CPU,
So you would still be
What
it.
an
as
analogy.
long as the CPU's still in
Because
that
you
car.
can take your finger off and just replace it.
Yeah,
theoretically.
just like you replace the tires on your car. If as long as that computer board is still intact from when it was factory made, that car is still that car. Think about it. Your car has the same VIN number.
Okay, so
throughout
if you
its
were
entire
to transfer only
It's
one
that
part
same
of the
car.
computer or the car, and it was the computer,
You know what your VIN number is?
then it would be the same car,
Your VIN number is your social. Think of yourself as a car.
right?
It is possible to replace.
I don't know that
humans.
much about cars, but yeah, we have prosthetics and stuff now. That
Just
you
think
can-
about how many parts are in a car.
a lot,
We're more complicated than cars.
undoubtedly.
So, but we could, yeah.
Think
so
about it
many
this
different
way:
parts.
how many parts of yourself could you replace with robot parts until you're no longer considered you?
Your brain. Your brain is what keeps you, literally.
I
There's-
think organs know your heart too. Your
Yeah.
heart is
Well,
like.
yeah,
You kind of need all of it.
Yeah,
Well-
but you can replace your heart. If you,
You
can,
can
replace
replace
your
your
heart.
stars.
Scientists have made artificial hearts that beat, and they
yeah,
put
I
There
their
was
blood.
someone that had a pig heart in them, and they lived for years, and they
Yeah,
ended up
multiple
dying.
years.
But that was
But she's
impressive
not a pig person. She's a person with the pig heart.
because she
So
just
that's
made a new
one-
heart.
She's not a big person.
Okay, but the analogy that I'm saying is that's not.
This guy. Oh, brother, this guy.
downright
stinks.
scientific in here. Okay, so
Oh, man.
that's one part she's replaced. If she had an entire set of organs from a pig, would she be a pig? You know what I'm saying?
No, does
I
she look
don't
like a pig?
think.
If you got a pig brain transplanted into your brain, would you start oinking?
Is this like
Probably.
animal form? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a hypothetical.
You could probably take sections of a pig brain and replace sections of a human brain with pig brain.
That
But
would be weird, dude.
But I
That would
don't-
be weird as
I don't
fuck.
think you could replace an entire because we require too much. Don't get me wrong.
This is
pigs,
going to be the next Black Mirror episode.
pigs are really intelligent. Yeah. Whoa.
If they haven't already done it.
We're
Yeah.
probably producing this one. We're a little behind.
Well, they did one where someone put something in a pig, but not where a pig puts something else.
Oh, they put something in
Say
a
that
pig.
one more time.
Whoa.
Yeah, I
No,
watched
no.
that episode.
Let's
Oh my
not,
God.
yeah, let's see it. I want to see that.
Pig put something in human.
Yeah.
Google it.
Oh no.
No, it wasn't pig put something in human.
All right, guys, let's bring it up.
Human put something in the pig.
Well, yeah. Okay, what if you put a human brain into a pig body? Would they be a human?
All right, listen. I
They
don't
would
think.
survive the surgery.
you
though.
guys-
That's the real question. Like, it's hard to like. be
Assuming
like,
they did. Assuming they
I
survived the
think it's a
surgery
bad
and it was
idea.
perfect.
If we give anything that is not a human brain, it is going to take over. It's going to dominate the food chain.
What, pig?
A spider, it doesn't matter. Think
They
about
don't
it.
have thumbs.
You give
I
a
don't think
spider,
it'll fit in a spider.
but they'll figure out ways.
Maybe your brain's small enough.
Me?
Yeah.
It is. I'm actually I'm a transplant. I got a spider brain.
That explains so much.
It does. I'm a spider, man.
Peter Parker.
Shoot straight silk.
I am Spider Man.
Okay, let's get back to the simulation theory.
Oh, there goes the sound level.
Fucked up the sound levels right quick.
You gotta blow his nose. Unbelievable, this guy. There's some off topic. There's some odd illness going around here.
Ooh, yeah.
It's the freshman flu. The freshmen are just notorious for bringing illness around.
Dick cheese.
That's one of them.
Chlamydia.
Yikes.
That's another one of them.
There was actually a chlamydia outbreak not too long ago, but that's a story for another time. The other question that I had about a simulation was, it was
He's shooting blanks. He does that.
Okay, well, here's a little thing
Can
for
you
you.
pass me the simulated
A little
smokes?
food for yeah. Pass me the simulated nicotine.
download some of this.
This shit busting.
Well, wait, I have a question. So do you guys think this brain chip that Elon Musk is developing would have to go alongside with simulation? Because
Imagine they came installed with the metaverse.
because if you think about it in the
Get
metaverse,
ads.
Oh my god, I thought about that.
So ideally, they want the metaverse to pretty much be functional in many ways, and one of them being that you could store a certain almost emotion or feeling, and you can revisit that, or like a state of mind.
The
So
conscious mind.
Exactly how your brain was
So,
in
like,
that moment.
let's say you
It
go
just
smoke
transfers.
a joint, and you just love the way you feel when you get that initial
Save.
buzz, right? You just hit save, set the hotkey to the number 1 on your keyboard, okay, and then you scroll through your keyboard in your eyes here through that fucking chip thing. You select one, there you go. You're as baked as a cake, and you don't even smell like pot.
You want to know what's funny about
Do
that?
you think people would be sad artificially or happy artificially? I feel like that would fuck with your brain.
Yeah, that fuck with you. Oh, but Ryan, what you were just talking about, surprisingly, it's not Neuralink, but Valve, the people that made Steam,
Really?
invested like I have no idea how much money, but it
Valve?
was millions to
Really?
billions of dollars
The games company.
into the exact technology you were just describing, because their main focus is full dive VR right now. They just
Oh, they
started
wanna-
an entire branch of their company dedicated to brain research and full dive VR.
There's an anime about
and,
this.
it's pretty
Fucking-
much exactly what you described, being able to save an experience and like load it up. And what they want to do is be able to give people experiences that are otherwise impossible, such as like you load up your full dive game you programmed and you can simulate having 3 eyes, and your brain can like process
Okay,
the
what about the
signals
porn,
of having
though?
3 eyes.
Can they directly input it into your brain?
I think they
The
can.
same feeling.
Oh, like
That would be too dangerous, man. We would
We're
need to
talking about-
destroy them all.
We're talking about simulation theory inside of our simulation
wait.
theory.
If you did that with like
No, but that's kind of like goes
Wake
hand
up.
in hand with simulation.
Wake
because
up.
We couldn't be the
Wake
only
up.
simulation. There's probably multiple simulations and multiple universes where it's a simulation of a simulation of a simulation.
Okay, so I heard a theory about this. The theory is that
preset 2 would be the orgasm. That's what I'd save on my second preset. But for some of you that jerk off too much, you little fucking
okay, all right.
assholes.
Anyway,
that
like
could
I
get out
was,
of hand. Because what if you have an addiction problem? Think about it. People are addicted.
yeah,
to
you could just be back in the moment.
So you have to restrict things, but you could also use it to cope with addiction. If someone has a problem with a drug addiction, you
You
could
just give
use
them
that
some dopamine.
stored. You use that stored state to make them feel that feeling without actually using those
They
narcotics.
should have us making
help
the new Neuralink.
lean them off. Maybe of the narcotics. And I mean, I don't know if Neuralink's going to be able to do this, but or any thing for that matter. But that would be amazing. It could definitely help with addiction.
That's interesting.
And it's not just drug addiction. I just gave you another.
Well,
example.
what if you could just go into your mind and delete the part of your brain that's
Addicted.
Yeah, that like makes you crave nicotine.
just delete that file, that dot,
gone.
that JPEG.
Yeah.
But then you're taking away parts of yourself and then creating a different future
Exactly.
for
It's
yourself,
playing
essentially, by
God.
doing
You're
those
playing
things.
God.
Wait, but then you're messing with the butterfly effect. Then
Literally.
you don't want to fuck with the butterfly effect.
Dude, that movie's insane. Sorry.
If you fuck with the
Our
butterfly-
urges make us human. The things that you do in order to seek comfort and reconcile the absurdity of your life and your existence prove that you are a person with free will.
We got a scholar in it. You just sound like a therapist. I love this guy.
You know what? I'm working on
This
it.
guy's great. He's talking in a very, I like it.
Sophisticated way.
You got to take a management class. It'll teach you how to
Hell
use
no.
your body language.
Hell no.
It teaches you how to use body language to speak to
I did
people.
public speaking. I like that class actually. I taught
I loved
people how to
public
throw
speaking.
a punch.
I taught him how to make pasta salad. Remember
Are you
that?
done? Are you done?
Sorry, what?
Okay, now we can continue. Anyway, like I was saying, the point at which we will know if it's possible to make a simulation that simulates life or not is if we can do it. And if we can make a simulation that is similar to real life, then it means that it's possible, and then there's a chance that we are in a simulation.
Yeah, so if we couldn't advance towards that, then
It's not possible.
No.
The other theory-
Wouldn't that mean we're just base reality and we haven't discovered it yet?
Well,
That would mean we're base reality and we haven't discovered simulation yet before knowing anything about it.
or we're already a simulation within a simulation within
Nested.
another simulation, and there's so little processing
A
power at
near
this part.
effect of simulations.
Yeah, so the theory is that
Everything is a
simulations only
simulation.
go as deep as we have the technology for, the
Yeah.
processing power.
So there's
So
an infinite.
if we're in the deepest level of the simulation, there's not going to be space left for us to create new ones. So that would
Yeah,
mean
but say in your simulated life, like say if we were simulations, we found out a way to create another simulation, like there was even in video games, like in real life, like there was. Did you guys ever watch that movie? Oh, what's it called? Ryan
the
Reynolds
premise?
is in it, and he's an NPC.
in the video game,
Yes,
yeah.
he's a video game player, but
I heard
he
about
ends
it.
up-
I did not watch it.
Oh my God, watch it, because listen, that's essentially what simulation theory is like.
So he
getting
gains
at.
consciousness.
He gains consciousness and not even that, but like he creates emotions within himself, feelings. He goes because he goes off of his regular path of what he's supposed to do in the game.
the
Like
reason-
he doesn't know he's in a game, but once he becomes aware too, he gets even crazier. But what happens is he falls in love with this girl, and that's what makes him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah.
That is interesting.
So
What if that's how it was though?
while we're talking about movies, how have we made it this far into the simulation theory episode and not talked about the Matrix yet?
Ooh.
I never
Makes-
watched the Matrix.
You never
I was
seen The
I was
Matrix?
going to talk about the Matrix.
Is it on? What streaming is it on?
Probably everything.
We will
I don't
find
know.
it and
It's
we
a-
will watch it. That's our homework for this week, is to watch the Matrix.
And we're gonna touch base
we're
on
gonna
this.
be fucked up. Anyway, if life was realistic, like in the Matrix, where you couldn't tell that you were living in a simulation,
The blue pill or the red pill?
would you continue living in it, or would you get out? Because I think I would just stay in. I don't really give a fuck. You know? I would rather be comfortable and living a lie than...
I mean,
having
honestly,
a
that's
shit
kind of how we
time.
live now. Because regardless of what we want to think or feel, there are secrets from us, like things we don't know. Regardless, so I mean, you would just kind of have like Big Brother doesn't have its eye on me anymore. I can see like that.
you can think freely.
You can be like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I live here now, and this is my life, and I just have to come to terms with it.
So would you say the people who live in the Matrix are not fully conscious? Like anybody who lives in a simulation, they are not aware, so they're not fully free thinking?
But if we're sitting here having this conversation and we are, then we are aware.
I think I'm a pretty free thinking individual.
I think that even if we are in a simulation, I think some people are going to be able to realize it and agree with it, whereas
You know
others are going to disagree and say no.
If you've ever done psychedelics,
That's what I was gonna say.
you are aware of the real reality that we live in.
Or at least how
more than
fragile
meets
it
the
is.
eye.
it's
Yeah.
very fragile.
Yeah.
Subjective and fragile.
Yeah, reality is subjective and fragile, which means basically the way that you think about things in your life is the way they are in your life, because your entire life is up here. So think positively and don't get yourself down, because that will fuck you up for no reason. So
I saw something about it. So, like with psychedelics, within the simulation. So, like if we were in a simulation, okay, say we were, like this guy was saying how like, he's like, what if like the reason why like psychedelics? Okay, so like, obviously like they're illegal. Like they're like kind of like little Easter eggs if you think about it. Like in a sense,
Right.
like you take them and I feel Brandon. No, listen, listen.
like
Because
Easter eggs in a
anytime you
video
trip,
game.
you can't tell me you don't have no type, like, if you have an
You
ego
think
death,
about reality.
if you have an ego death and, like, completely don't even understand reality, like, could you come to, like, people have said they've talked to God while, like, tripping.
You had something like that, not God, but
I thought I was God,
Yeah.
which was even crazier.
That's a common occurrence.
Yeah, and it was very.
But like, what if these are little things to bring awareness, like to allow us to understand? Like this guy said, well, he said he smoked DMT, and he said he talked to God, and God told him that basically his life was a simulation and nothing is real and all this stuff. Like obviously he was.
That
tripping,
is crazy.
But he was like, oh, and he just came to terms with it, and he's like this
But it's
huge like
crazy to hear
conspiracy
that.
theorist.
Yeah.
And he's like really into like finding out these things, and like he said that in the church, God was just like, you are living a lie. Like everybody's living a lie. It's a simulation.
That would fuck me
What
up
if
so
you-
bad.
The only problem with that is like, what if he was like Googling it right before he smoked the DMT or something? Like
It's
that
in
could
your
have had a
brain.
drastic effect on his trip.
So the
His
feeling that I
subconscious.
had, it wasn't exactly that I was God, but it felt like I was in control of my subjective reality. So the way people say we only use 10% of our brains, it basically felt like I was in control of the other 90%. And whatever I thought
Wow.
became apparent to me. And like if I was, thinking about seeing something, then it became like I was seeing that. So I thought that was really interesting. It also makes me think about subjective experience. Because like, in my eye, psychedelics are the key to gaining understanding about things that people ask themselves, like the questions of, maybe why am I here? What is life? All
Big
this.
questions and abstract ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very hard to think about stuff. And when you are in that state of mind, it's much easier for you to comprehend big things like that. And I think that's a tool. That's like what made a lot of people discover religion, was doing drugs basically in the forest, and then they're like, wow, like things are completely different than what I thought. And there's also the stoned ape theory, which says that we got our consciousness.
Yep.
You want to explain that?
Basically, during the path of evolution from monkey to humans, they ate a bunch of psychedelic mushrooms they found, and it's somewhat like, I suppose it expanded their consciousness.
Yeah.
And they just gained a lot of
Pretty much.
the ability to like view things from multiple different perspectives at the same time, and eventually it just ended up to our
They just had new sections of their brain pop up.
because it has been scientifically proven that tripping on certain psychedelics, psilocybin and LSD especially, interconnect different like synapses in your brain that like weren't there before.
They say it's good to microdose shrooms, like daily. Like take it like.
We say it's
literally
good to
medication.
microdose shrooms.
It is good to
Go ahead and
microdose.
do it.
Bro, I see ads for it all the time. Like it's literally.
As
a
long
thing.
as you're sure that the dose is there like a recommended size?
You can look.
How
up,
micro
depending
is
on your
micro?
weight.
It has to go based off your
Do
weight.
research.
Wait,
If you're gonna
wait.
try
It has to
microdosing,
go on your BMI.
do not
BMI.
eat too much shrooms and be fucked up for the entire day, because that might be interesting,
You
but it
ain't,
will not help
you ain't gonna be able to crunch those
Just
numbers.
a little input on it. With a microdose, you're not supposed to have a
No.
headspace change. You're not supposed to feel it, or it's almost as if you don't know that you took it, even though you do. It's
Right.
like it's supposed to be such a tiny amount with such like little impact.
It has mood changes and like
Yeah.
It helps with depression too.
and productivity, makes you more productive. That's interesting because they give depression patients drugs like ketamine, also mushrooms is one. They give them to people with cancer who find out that they're going to die, which is an area of therapy that I would be interested in working on, because I think that's where you learn a lot. Talking to people who are like, on the way out. It's very, as modern humans, we kind of have the tendency to avoid death, and we don't even talk about it. We barely ever think about it unless you're on fucking drugs, or someone close to you dies.
Yeah.
But
Then you start to think about it.
yeah, getting over that fear of death is
Just
the step to unlocking.
Like the existential dread attached to it.
Yeah, exactly. If you can get over that, then you can use your brain to a higher potential. And there's a couple things like that you have to get over, like people's perceptions of you. If you spend a lot of time worrying about that, then you're not going to be able to use your brain to your fullest capacity, because you have a section of that energy being used by worrying, which is like,
Don't worry about things.
take it easy. Yeah, do yourself a break.
Listen, life only gets more stressful. And you know what?
Roll up a little Jaybird.
The quicker
strategy-
you realize it,
Fuck.
the better off you are.
The strategy that I heard was to set aside a time in your day where maybe it's just 10 or 15 minutes, but you take some time aside where you set down all of your worries and your problems, even your phone, and you go do something and just be free of that, you know? And that will help you separate the two things. You know, there's a time for anxiety and worrying, and there's a time for just being relaxed. Because if you have it with you all the time, then it's going to fuck you up.
True.
Like, there's people who get ulcers in their stomach because of stress.
Stress, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a very real medical problem.
It
Maybe
really
that's what happened
hurts.
with me.
You could get, I think you
Maybe
could get
that's why I
kidney
needed a
stones.
colonoscopy.
You were stressed the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly.
Your hair can fall out.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Go
so
bald.
just take it easy.
Take it
you
easy,
know?
It is. Well, listen, things,
man.
I feel like the problem with people is like we just take things a little too seriously all the time. Like, I mean, I definitely try not to, but like, if bad things happen to us, like if something bad happens to you, I feel like it's, for me at least, it feels like the end of the world. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why me? And what? Sorry, I got distracted.
No, it wasn't you. It was this fucking dweeb.
Okay. Anyways, we just tend to be very stressed.
Not
Yeah.
me, look at me. I'm
Like-
fucking worry free over here. I'm in La La Land.
Honestly, this man is gone.
Okay, here's the thing. People who live in like smaller tribes, I guess, and like less advanced countries, they tend to have higher happiness levels.
I remember. Did I show you that?
No, there's an
video?
island in Japan where the average life expectancy is over 100 years, and they're
Really?
reported to be the happiest place in the world because they don't have fucking
Do you
cell
remember
phones or
the
anything.
video that I showed you when
Yes.
you showed me the myth of Sisyphus? That was the exact same thing, but I don't remember where that tribe was.
They were somewhere. I think it was in the Amazon rainforest. Yeah,
And-
I would
and,
love to be out there.
They
I
basically
went
just
through
laughed
World
at
War I was to
the.
start over completely.
Okay,
Fuck
wait.
all this.
Tell them about the uncontacted tribe.
I don't think it's an uncontacted tribe because the guy went.
They
and
were
wrote a book
previously
about it once.
uncontacted.
Yeah, but basically, just like they're not concerned with matters of death like whatsoever. Like they're aware
They don't
of
have
it.
a word for
And
it.
yeah, they didn't even have a word for it because like it was really hard for the guy to learn their language to communicate with them, and I think he spent a couple of years with them, honestly, and like
You
some
can't
kind of
learn
journalist.
language quickly.
But like he picked up their language and learned to communicate with them and stuff, and he wrote a book about it. I wish I had a source. I don't remember any of the names or anything, but basically like. They laughed at
Look it
his like Western mindset and like ideals about death and whatnot, and they're just like absolutely not concerned with it because like they just view it as a natural part of the human experience, and like why
That's
worry
insane.
about it if you can't do anything about it?
You move the
Oh my God,
You move the camera.
We're
He's
good.
fucking up the sound levels.
we're all good.
He's
Okay.
giving thumbs up like he's Big Ben on a stretcher.
Oh,
He's not
and we don't even
connected
have
to the internet.
fucking internet.
You're gonna
Okay.
show him your Wi-Fi, which is gonna tell him where we are. Great job. We're gonna have to edit that past minute of me freaking out.
Okay. Anyway, we're not on screen.
Are they looking at me now? Well, we're always on screen.
Yeah,
Fuck, I forgot about
they've been looking at you the whole time.
I tend to, when we go to that screen mode, I tend to just go to my natural mouth wide open sitting position like that, yeah. And I forget you guys are watching me, so you probably just see me go, throughout the...
I showed you the setup, and I said we are in the bottom of the screen.
I can never remember.
Okay, this is great.
We're having technical difficulties. Please bear
Aren't
with
we
us.
always?
Oh.
Oh,
What
oh
is
my!
that?
Okay, you know what?
And we get to see a search history on YouTube. This is great.
The creepest
Oh my god.
Anyway,
fart trap beat.
Oh my god.
I'll be releasing that song on YouTube a little bit later. I'm gonna start a new channel where we freestyle. Was it this guy?
I have no idea.
Are they gonna be able to hear
Maybe.
the sound?
We're not playing the entire video. I believe I watched this
It was a
documentary
TED
actually.
Talk.
You're a TED Talk. Does this podcast come with bathroom breaks?
No, actually, you're gonna have to piss your pants on air.
I have no problem with that.
All right, we will find the link for that TED Talk and provide it somewhere
We'll
else.
put it in the text. We'll do a text box. I don't know if they worked that in last time.
Fix the.
No, we're still editing the video from last week. Actually,
Brandon's
it's gonna be released at some point. You have the audio. Let's get you set up here, buddy.
What did you do?
I'm back.
All right. What were we talking about?
I don't
Death.
know, but we should talk. Death, yeah.
All right, that's a good one.
That's what we were talking about.
What happens after you die?
Oh, boy.
You're dead.
I don't think anything.
That's it. Nothing.
I think you're in the ground and you're just.
Not alive
I
anymore.
think everything goes black, man.
I'm a nihilist
It's
myself.
like you go to sleep and never wake up.
No, I think it's even like there's more to it in the fact that there's less to it. Like it's literally just nothingness. Like it's so incomprehensible why even think about it.
That's interesting.
I like
Well-
the way you're stating your.
Like I was saying earlier, people spend so much time avoiding death that they don't really live life, which is interesting. And I really want to believe in reincarnation. I think that would be the coolest one out of them all.
Until you come back as a rat in the New York City sewer.
I'd love it, man. I'd be eating shit every
You'd be the
day.
biggest
I'd be-
fucking rat there.
Yeah, baby.
One of those like 3-pounders.
I'm gonna win the rat race. But
He is
I'd love
the
to
rat
come back
race.
as a turtle. God, if you're listening
Sorry,
to this.
just reminded me of us in 10th grade debating on whether or not God's real or not. Randon decided to do his on why God's not real, and I did mine on why God is real.
Ooh.
And we
I remember
kind of
that.
debated
That is
each other. Well, not
interesting.
debated each other. We both did our stances, and that was it. But
Why is God not real?
Can't put me on the spot like
There's some memory problems on this podcast.
Done hit my head a few times. My views have definitely changed from that as well, because it's just like
that was such a different time in your life,
Yeah.
though.
I still don't necessarily believe in like
Are you more
a modern
Gnostic?
religion God that everyone talks about, or like God from the Bible or any other
I'm
major
in the same
religion.
boat.
But it's just like pretty much it's the same deal with simulation theory. It's like I can't prove it one way or another, and like I almost just don't bother to think about it.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that's ever like okay, so like I understand
Why
like
is
the
God
whole
real?
I want proof shit. Like I need proof to believe it. Gotta like see it to believe it. And the reason why like the most like logical way for me to explain it to people and why I believe God is real is that so basically like Satan. I think Satan's real. Because people get possessed, things happen, and like places are haunted, ghosts are real. You can literally contact the dead through a freaking Ouija board.
We
Like,
need to get
that
one.
night.
That's going to be
Listen,
the next
you
episode
can,
of our
because
podcast.
so here's the thing: if people can be possessed,
I
if
don't
there are demons, and then how could there not be a God? Because Satan is a fallen angel of God.
I don't
So-
want to fuck with Ouija boards. I was told to stay away.
I've never touched one and I never will, but I'm just saying,
scared,
like,
yeah.
that's just a for instance. Like,
But
we
I've
have
heard-
contact with hell. We
I've
have.
heard people tell
Whoa,
some
whoa,
crazy
whoa,
Ouija
whoa,
board
whoa, whoa.
stories, and it just kind of scares
Okay.
me to think about.
One of our guests here believes in mediums and contacting the dead.
Whoa, I don't. Not that I
Well,
don't.
you've had experiences.
I was
No.
there.
No.
That was a weird night.
That was Riley and Mike. They.
Oh, not the same night.
No,
Yeah,
that's
okay,
the
yeah,
night.
yeah,
well,
okay.
I'm just saying, like, Riley's seen
Yeah,
stuff,
it's
stuff
mostly
like
my
that.
sister.
Multiple contacts
Um,
with the dead.
Yeah, they did a couple. I think didn't they do it twice, or was it just that one time? You guys
No,
did
they
it
didn't
once?
touch it again after
Okay.
that.
Well, listen, Michael had scratches all over his
Yeah,
back, like
I
nail
forgot
marks
about
all
that.
down his back after they did this. Nobody
I
touched
saw it
him
with
the
my
whole
own
time.
eyes.
From a
He
ghost.
showed me days after, like days
Who knows
after.
what the fuck it was? It happened though.
Listen,
He was just like, guys, my back's like on fire, and he pulled up his shirt, and there were just scratches down his back. That
you
was
can't tell me Satan.
Okay, so I didn't really believe in any of the mumbo jumbo from that whole night, but I fucking saw the scratches on his back, and I can't explain that one.
That is
Yeah, nobody can
evil
explain that.
power at work.
I don't even believe in ghosts, but I can't explain the scratches on his back. There's no way he dug his own nails in. He can't,
He can't even reach. He can't even fucking reach.
Like that was weird.
So that's what I'm saying. So if there is Satan, there is God, because Satan was God's right-hand man in a sense before he booted him out of heaven because Satan wanted more power than God. And God's like, sorry, we don't play with that.
Okay, so if there's a heaven, there must be a hell.
Yeah.
Everything's about balance.
There absolutely is.
What if there's just sections of heaven for really shitty people? Because the Christian belief is that...
Yeah, you're on the second floor, bud.
Maybe in a couple years we can promote you.
Yeah, you get a studio apartment in
Good
heaven.
behavior, we can boot you up a little higher in the system.
You're at -30.
Imagine there were like ghost jobs. Like after you died, it was like, yeah, you have to be a ghost cashier at a ghost Walmart
the
now.
grind, you're still grinding.
Like that'd be so ass.
I would kill my ghost self.
I'd hope that's not what heaven would be like, but maybe in hell, honestly.
If you're a ghost, you can't re-die.
If you were evil in your life, you have to work at the DMV in hell.
People who die and can't come to the terms with the fact that they're dead stay in a place called
Limbo.
purgatory, yeah.
Purgatory, limbo.
Well, I know it as purgatory, yeah.
So
Catholics.
I couldn't. Well, that would be torturous for me. I will not. I wouldn't know, but I'm just saying. Like, imagine like reliving your memories and just trying to hold on to that. Like, I don't know.
The Christian. So I asked my mom about this, and she's very into the Christian belief, and she told me that their idea of hell is not what we think with the pitchforks and the fire and the burning. It's more of a life without God. So a life where basically everything is meaningless and you don't have any contact with the higher power. You know, you're just going through life regularly, but without God. That's what she told me.
She accidentally said that we're like there right now.
That's what I was going to say. What if we are in hell or purgatory?
You know, I thought about that a lot with all the close calls with death. Like, definitely been down bad a few times.
Maybe you really did die.
I've definitely had some thoughts like that before.
That
I did actually die, and like
that this is hell.
None of this matters anymore.
We should try and center that.
It is center.
Oh, no, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
talk
wrong?
about a simulation. Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey,
We're in a
actually,
simulation
here's another
right now.
theory
Let
that
me
I feel
out!
like I know a little
Let me
bit more
out!
about that I can actually say words about. Well, a little words. I don't know the full thing, but it's called
Just a few words.
I was telling you this about this the other day, Henry. What was it called? I don't even remember.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Remote viewing. The remote viewing theory. So, it was actually the CIA used this for like 15 to 20 years. It was like actually something they used. Like they'd have professional remote viewers come in and like help them solve crimes, like try to solve murders. So like using this theory.
What is a remote viewer?
Okay, so a remote viewer is somebody that can see something. Well, okay, actually, let me look up the exact definition so we can be a little more specific.
Is this like psychic?
Kind of. So, like, anybody can do it. And I even tried it. I tested the theory, and, like, you can take a class and learn how to do it. I downloaded the class, but I haven't done it yet. But I just tried to do it to see if I have any type of, like, mojo going on in my brain.
Just in case you can talk to extraterrestrial.
No, not that. So remote viewing is the practice of seeking impressions. What is he doing? This man is going.
I'm losing it.
It's the practice of seeking impressions about a distant or unseen subject. So typically a remote viewer is expected to give information about an object, event, person, location that is hidden from physical view and separated at some distance. So like the way you can test to see if you have any type of remote viewing skill is basically by like, okay, tell one of your friends to look up a random location.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that the CIA brought in someone and they said, find Bin Laden, and the motherfucker went like...
I don't know if that's how they did it, but they literally
just gave the
they used
latitude
it
and
for years.
longitude.
But they discontinued the program because there's a lot easier ways for the
I think-
government to peep on us now.
I
so.
think they have declassified a bunch of bizarre documents about breathing techniques and astral projection, and like
What?
they have done all kinds of research into that kind of stuff. But I haven't read any of the documents. I don't know if any of it's real, but they have done studies on that kind of like
get
bizarre
me in
stuff.
there with a bag of mushrooms. I will be the new expert remote viewer. I'll be like, yeah. I'm seeing...
Microsoft
So like you know how like
PowerPoint.
when mediums, I don't know if you've ever watched like Long Island Medium, but whenever she does
Oh, we need to take a commercial break.
More technical difficulties.
The CIA is just like, hey Henry,
Oh my
find me
God!
this guy's balls.
They're shutting down my entire operation.
Are we still recording?
Yep.
All right. We don't pause for technical difficulties here. We call
Absolutely
on
not.
the IT team.
Okay.
If you need to use the bathroom, you can just go. Just say that. 'Cause I do.
Were you talking to me?
Yeah, I thought you had to.
Yeah, we're not going to go at the same time.
You
Why
guys
not?
hold hands.
All right, well,
No, you go. We'll do it in shifts.
yeah, that way the conversation doesn't get lost.
You hold his, he holds yours.
Well,
No, nothing like
It
that.
is, it is Thursday.
What a sweet moment.
Might have to help you later, so you don't hit the couch again.
Look at this guy's nose on the camera. Get a load.
Hey, come on. Whose side are you on?
Oh!
We're good,
Whoa.
and
Turbo.
we are good.
We got the turbo spooling again.
That's what I was gonna say.
Anyways, we're just gonna sit here and stare. What are we
I'm just
waiting
looking
for?
at this computer screen.
You're
We
putting the
waiting for
mouse
Jesus
on
to
your
come back?
face.
Anyways, so do you believe in remote viewing?
Yeah, it's real. Literally, the CIA used it for like a grip.
I feel uncomfortable with someone being able to
I
see
tried
my
it
thoughts.
and it worked.
So they can like read thoughts?
So I
What do you mean
tested it.
worked?
I had somebody look up a random location, okay? So what you do is this is a way to find out if like, so this is like how to teach yourself how to do it basically. You look up a random location, have somebody look up a random location, a picture of a location, okay? You have no clue what it is. They give you a 6-digit number, okay? You write down the 6-digit number and then you just start writing words. Any word that comes to your head first pops in your head, you write it down. Write it down. So like blue, curvy, tall, like random, like
But what do the numbers have to do with it?
nothing. So it's kind of, well, nothing and nothing, kind of. So like
They have some meaning, but not.
they have some meaning, but I'm not sure what it is. So whoever like gives you the logo, like picks the picture, thinks of the numbers in their head that they want to give you.
Mhm.
Okay, you take those numbers, you write it down, and basically what you're supposed to do is completely block out your conscious mind and allow your subconscious to try to come to the forefront. So like how you do that is you kind of have to keep your brain preoccupied while you're doing it. So like sitting there scribbling is what I will do. Like I'll just scribble to keep my like hand moving, my mind moving, and just like writing random like stuff on the side. And then anytime a random word will pop in my head, I wrote it down. And the one I did that was closest, like I wrote down a crap ton of words until I just was like, okay, I think this is it, like I'm done. And nearly every single one of the words had either some type of correlation to the picture. Like it wasn't like, I did it a couple times, but there were definitely some times where it was like completely wrong.
What kind of words were they?
Like for one, the one that was closest was, I guessed, a lake. So like I was like water, calm, trees, tall trees, cold, fall, but it is like just like random words that come to your mind. But you kind of have to like meditate on it. Like you can't guess what it is. You have to allow your subconscious mind to be able to reach that. But
I can't believe that.
it's a real thing, and they used it to try to solve
We're
murders
gonna
and
have
stuff.
to try this.
You can go beyond
We can do it right now. I
can.
can literally look up a picture and
Oh.
give you random numbers, and you can do it right now.
All right, on the podcast, let's see if Randini
Or
Scamini
I was gonna say
psychic.
we can all try to do one. You're gonna need a piece of paper and a pen.
Let's do it after,
Okay, let's do that.
because we got important things to tell these people.
Okay. What important things?
Always wash your hands. Don't get pregnant. Those are good ones.
Stay in
We don't need
vegetables, do
more
your
kids in
school.
the world. Stop having children, okay? The population is fine where it is. Nobody needs to be bringing these rowdy little motherfuckers into the world, okay? It's just, we've had enough.
Fascinating message you decided to go with.
We're on to fascism here.
Oh my gosh. I just realized Uncle Tony dipped.
Can I smack
He's
the
gone.
simulated smokes?
Yeah. 1001010.
I like what you were talking about earlier with especially the nested simulations, and it's like super comparable to virtual machines on like a desktop environment with
You
computers.
know why? Because we live in a simulation.
And
Inside of a computer.
what you were talking about with like being at the end like of a simulation, nested in a simulation, nested in a simulation, and how you'd like run out of processing power. That's literally how virtualization technologies work right now with computers, and you have to allocate resources and like partition sections of your hard drive space off for each individual one.
So
and
you can get more layers.
And you can run layers inside of layers with the virtualization technology. Like you can
emulate something.
You can emulate like a Linux machine inside of a Windows machine that's emulated on a Linux machine. Like you can nest them that way, but you have to allocate resources every step of the way. And by the time you get to like the 4th or 5th iteration, it'll have almost no processing power or RAM.
Everything will be very slow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of parallels there, and like that definitely.
So people say that's
sense.
The reason why our video games at this point are still not indistinguishable from reality, is because we don't have any kind of technology that can do anything like that. So theoretically, it's possible for computers to advance to the point where, okay, so they either advance to the point where we can make something indistinguishable from reality, or we hit a point where we can't advance any further, and we won't be able to, and that proves something.
That's the great filter. Have you heard of the great filter theory?
What is that?
It's basically that like advanced civilizations like ours in this universe specifically, it has nothing to do with multiverse or any of that other stuff. It's like this is the base universe, this is the only universe kind of idea like that most people have.
I like that assumption.
The fact that, or not the fact, it's basically that we aren't the first or only advanced civilization that's occurred in this universe, but all the advanced civilizations ends up killing themselves with like nuclear warfare, running out of resources, and there's this great filter that prevents them from like moving on to other areas in the universe, such as like not being able to go the speed of light,
or
could
food,
be the great filter, or just resource shortages. But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that could be considered a great filter, and it's really cool.
Simulations could be one of them. Which is, yeah, I think once we hit the point where we're able to make real life in a simulation, then we are going to lose some of our humanity to that.
Part of me doesn't want it to be a simulation. I just want the apocalypse.
You know what? I would be okay with that.
I want to talk about simulation. Does it feel like we've been talking for 50 minutes?
Yes.
Oh, not to me.
No, I'm just shooting data off my hard drive here.
I don't know if it's, maybe I don't know if I lose track of time, but just when you think about it, and maybe it's because we've all had interactions with psychedelics, but that's what I feel. I mean,
so sometimes moments happen that are indistinguishable from other moments.
Not even that. Like I could think about it at any point in time. I could sit here and just get my mind to think about examples of how life is a simulation.
Time is so crazy. No, seriously, because I swear when I'm aware
I think
of
that
time,
should be
it's
next
so
week.
slow.
Okay.
Time should be
we'll
next
do
week.
time.
Time dilation is its own episode.
Okay. Have you ever had a day that felt like it was repeated?
Yeah.
I've had weeks straight of that.
I've been in situations where I'm like, I feel like this is absolutely.
Is that an example of a time glitch?
I've woke up, gone to work, and came home from work and did it all day and did the same thing all day every day for weeks.
Yeah.
Like all summer, and it's just like it feels the same every day.
I try to keep enough. I move completely randomly throughout my day. That's why I am averse to having schedules and things like that.
Embrace the chaos.
Yeah, I would rather my days be unique and chaotic than orderly and all the same.
Have you considered finding a balance between the two?
That is, so you're saying every couple days I do the first half of the week scheduled and the second half just balls to the wall.
You could do anything you want with it. You could do it on a daily basis. Like, I'm going to sit down and do whatever the fuck I want for the next 4 hours. But after that, I'm going to sit down and do this. So you could almost schedule the chaos into a schedule.
That is interesting.
So, and like, I've actually been trying stuff like that recently, like, just giving myself time to fuck off throughout the day, and it's like,
3 hours of work.
And like, I'm gonna start my homework at 7:30 p.m. specifically, but until then, I can do whatever I want and just return to monkey, go stupid, go crazy for 3 hours.
Absolutely,
go smoke a couple cigarettes, go get some food, go for a walk, do whatever the fuck I want to do.
The thing that gives your life meaning is the meaning that you give to it. So if you choose to be very similar and not out of the ordinary, then you can do that very well. And especially in our country at this time, you can go work someplace and barely even have a name, you know? People won't know who you are, and they'll talk to you, and maybe it'll be like 5 minutes.
It's actually
maximum.
a type of, we're learning about that in one of my classes. There's certain people that just, they tend to be the people that'll sit in the corner of the meeting room or the office cubicles, and
They go with the herd.
They're on their own island. But yeah, they kind of go with the herd, but they're on their own island because they don't want to be up front or near anyone that can come and have a conversation with them.
Nobody pops their bubble.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I am the bubble popper.
Exactly.
I think it's more valuable in life to be unique than just to go with what everyone else thinks. Because there is, I learned in psychology that there's a very strong pack mentality between humans, and the way they tested this was the infamous shock experiment, where they had someone administer shocks to a completely random stranger. And there was a guy in a white lab coat. It wasn't even a scientist or someone with authority, just a person in a lab coat. And they said, you have to go on with the experiment, shock him again. And 9 times out of 10, the person will give a shock to the other stranger that would theoretically kill them. Because the researchers say it's possible for them to die. And the person in the other room is acting as if they're about to die. And people will go ahead and give the shock. So you can be influenced by other people to do things you don't want to. And it's really easy.
So what did we learn today about simulation?
Simulations could be real? ? We still don't have a definitive answer, and we're not going to crack this one for a while.
I think I learned that more people should be aware of the simulations that are ongoing.
Go crazy. Go stupid. Don't be simulated. Do something random today.
You learned something today.
Something in peace.
Uncle Tony's leaving early.
Is that 1 hour?
Yeah, but I gotta take a call.
Should we end it there?
He's got to take a call.
Business call.
Business is calling.
I
people,
think that's it for the week.
All right, everyone. Take care and be crazy.